What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Max Stack Motorsports. Today, yes sir, there we go. So this is a spare hood for our GTI. The GTI is currently at Adrena Garage getting the alignment done, and then it's off to Das Parts to get the turbo replaced. Again, as far as the turbo goes, guys, I really wanted to show you guys it, but I just don't have the time or the patience to really do that right now. So we're going to work on some odds and ends to get us all set up for our first track day, which will be at the Berlin Classic in Grand Bend, Ontario, at the racetrack over there. So we'll be running the road course for the first time, hopefully, if everything goes as planned. But yeah, since I have a couple odds and ends, this is one of them. So picked up the spare hood right here, and we're gonna be cutting it up to install some vents. So again, with our I'm just sitting down here with our current setup that we have on the front bumper, you know, we have all those holes that are all drilled out to create a little bit more ducting to get to the rad, to get to the front of the engine, to keep everything nice and cool, as well as our power steering coolers and our oil coolers. Now, with all that air going into the car, we also want to have some sort of vortex effect to come out, and this is where this whole venting system is kind of going to come into place. Now, I mean, the way that I'm probably doing it might be the wrong way, but at least it's something that I'm learning on, and something that is pretty important to do when tracking the car. So yeah, let's take a look at the vents. We got a pair of these. So I picked this up off a local guy that actually does a little bit of tracking as well, and these are actually designed to be fender vents. So you put them on the side, pretty much where your front tires are just above it, just to create any sort of pressure and lift in those fenders as you're going around the track for the air to escape. So yeah, really good quality, really excited about them. They have a nice paint on them too as well, and they're already pre-drilled, which is pretty big. So I'm pretty excited about that. We're definitely gonna mount these, and then I got a pair of these. Now, I know these are black right now, but they were white, and that's because that these are air return vents that you would normally see in your living room, dining room, bedroom, anywhere in your house. These are from Home Hardware, which would be Home Depot, Lowe's, all that stuff. But yeah, for a budget, guys, I think these should do the trick. Again, the way that we're going to drill the holes here, instead of doing like a massive kind of rectangle, we're going to kind of do some more circular style, pretty similar to what we did on our front bumper, which should hopefully keep the strength of the hood, just because we're going to be cutting some of the skeleton at the back to it, which I'll show you. But yeah, with these two right here paired together, as well as these, I think we should have enough venting going on in there where, any air going into that engine bay can escape in a good manner, as well as cooling everything down at the same time. So welcome back, guys. It is really hot out today, so we're kind of kicking in the shade. But yeah, let's get to it and have some fun. So that's the concept that I think we're going to work with here, guys. So again, I'm gonna have to probably measure everything. I can already tell that this is not centered, and yeah, with the OCD, I'm gonna definitely make sure that I want this the best I can. I mean, again, it's not gonna look the prettiest, especially using air vents, but yeah, hopefully should be okay. Again, this is probably gonna be just after the radiator, but just before the intake. That's kind of where we want everything to come up. There's many different ways you guys can do this. Again, you can go online. Summit Racing has some of the best track spec. I know one of the brands that's on there. Cooling vents that you guys can buy around, like top quality. They're just, quite a bit of money. So yeah, you can also use, I think it's a 2013, that kind of generation of the Shelby GT500 Mustang. You can take the front kind of grill, or not grill, but the vent that's on the hood of those cars, you can actually buy it separately from any Ford dealership, and you can actually use it here, which works pretty good. I've seen it done on a couple of these cars, and seems to do the trick. But for our setup, I think this is going to be the best we're going to get it. I mean, I was thinking about putting these kind of up top over here. I mean, I could do that as well too, but at the same time, I mean, on this side, just in case it does rain, I don't want any water getting on top of the battery, and on this side too as well. I don't want anything getting on top of all the I mean, the coolant bottle, sensor, power steering stuff's all over here as well. So not only that, I just think I put everything kind of in the center. I think it will just do more effectiveness to it. So we'll see how it goes. I'm definitely putting these guys here for sure. Again, I'm just gonna kind of have to measure it out to make sure I have everything good. But first and foremost, the number one thing we have to do now, again, before we do any of this stuff, that was like a chalkboard, is just cut out some of this skeleton. So you can see the old A-frame here. So I mean, if you can work around it, that you don't have to do that, that would work really good actually too as well. But yeah, just giving what our setup is going to be, I think we're going to cut out just a little bit. Hopefully this doesn't fall, but just a little bit of this A-frame. So most likely somewhere there, up here, and right there. I'm just going to take out these as well. And again, you don't want to go too crazy with it, guys. You want to make sure you kind of keep some of the strength of the hood, or else it's going to start bubbling around when you're driving. But yeah, this is why we went out and bought a spare one that I don't really care about too much, and if it gets all kind of wrecked up, then it does. So yeah, let me grab my grinder. I got it right here, and being very careful and very tedious with this cut. I don't want to go too deep on it, or else I'm going to start cutting the hood in places I don't want to cut. So let's get to it on that, and then hopefully once this section is out, I'll be able to do my measurements and start drilling my holes and making everything work for our cooling setup. A little progress here, guys. Just gotta be very tedious with the cutting. So already I kind of have the one side almost done. Now there's a little bit of rubber underneath. I mean, going into this, I kind of saw it, kind of prepared for it, but you can't really see it that much until, I mean, right there you can. But yeah, it's pretty much like a rubber kind of glue that keeps the hood right here attached to the A-frame or the framing of the hood. So just be very careful with that. I mean, I'm probably going to use the pry bar, which I have been. As you guys can see, it kind of moves up, but when everything's all said and done, I mean, I might be able to sand it down just a little bit, but it's not like anyone's going to see it, so I'll probably just drill my holes through that. But again, if you take a look at our venting, you can already see, you know what I mean, this is where it's going to be coming through on the other side. And because of the holes that we're going to drill, our circular holes, I'm not going to worry about doing those big rectangles. I should keep some of the strength. That is the kind of goal here. I don't really like doing this. You guys will see with the figure 8 car how everything changes, but yeah, making progress on this one. Just going to kind of use the pry bar a bit more to get it up, and then we'll do this one as well, and then we can do all our measurements. Alrighty guys, nice and fresh. Got the old strop pack out. So again, this is from the bottom. Just trying to debating on how I'm going to do this. Again, I'm going to have to make my measurements, find the center point, which should be this right here, obviously the hood latch. But I mean, if I do my holes, like get everything all set up from the bottom, then I'll have a better idea of what I can actually achieve on the other side. So again, with this, I'm going to do different type of holes. I'm gonna probably have to put another hole here, 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 and here for the bolts. That way everything stays nice and flat. And then yeah, the skinny ones there I'll have to do on the side. But let me just kind of take a look at everything here, and then I'll bring you guys back in. Alrighty guys, so I think this is the best option that we're gonna have. Again, I know these are a little further away than what I originally wanted to, especially this one here being over the battery. In the long term, maybe we'll do a battery relocation kit. We'll see how the end of the season goes. That one will be over the power steering as well. But yeah, I just think, especially having this cross brace right there, a part of the old A-frame here on the skeleton of our hood, still want to keep as much strength as I can. I'm not gonna be going, 200 miles an hour down the straightaway, but I still want to make sure it's nice and strong. So this is where everything gets a little bit more tricky, because we're doing everything upside down, and hopefully it all pans out. But I have my marker. Again, I don't want to mark up the top of the hood. And then I have a couple levels, one here as well, and my tape measure, of course, a little trusty tape measure here. So I'm gonna work on the center ones first. I want to make sure that these things are nice and straight, as well as kind of symmetrical to each other. I don't want anything kind of skewed or offset. So hopefully those work out pretty good. And again, if you take a look here, guys, you see how I have my venting, and then we have this kind of flat spot here. When I do the measurements, for example, if I take my marker and I trace around the outside of these vents, I'm also, when I take them off, I'm gonna have to make sure I measure that gap and then do the same thing with my marker on the inside of the original box. That way I know where the actual vents are. There's no point in me drilling holes for any sort of air ducting when it's going to be covered, especially in the middle. So you got to take that into account. Same thing with these ones. This one has kind of a similar setup. Again, this helps a lot that these are already pre-drilled. These ones I'll have to add a little bit more, but yeah, I'm gonna work on the center ones here first. So I'm gonna make sure everything's all nice and square, trace everything out, and then we'll take them off, do our measurements for the inside right here, and then we'll go grab the drill with the hole saw kit, and we can start knowing where our holes are going to be. So let me get going on that. There's our outline. So now we're going to measure again right here, which looks like to be probably about 1/2 inch. Anyways, we're going to measure that, and then we're going to make several 1/2 inch measurements across this box and around, and then that way we have an idea of where our vents are going to be on the actual car. So clearly don't know measurements at all, but so this is just over 3/4 of an inch, this little flat spot here. But I also went, you can kind of see these little indents here. That's kind of just a guide as far as where I know the actual vents are, just given the fact that this center part right here is going to be that right there. So now we have those. Again, let's go ahead and do our little just over 3/4 of an inch measurement, and then we'll be able to have our template for where we can actually start doing our holes. There we go. So as you guys can see, yep, we pretty much drew them all out. So now we have an idea of where our holes are going to be. So I'm going to try to put 2 in each pocket here. That way I'll have 2, maybe 1 on the bottom, 1 on the top, 4 in total for 1 unit. Hopefully that works. Should be able to get those at least. But let me go grab the drill with the hole saw, and yeah, we can start drilling them out. So back to our kind of hole saw kit here. Again, this is the same one that we used for the front bumper, the reinforcement bar that was on there before we put our bash bar in. So we're gonna use this again. And now that I have a good idea, guys, I think, I can fit 4 per section if I really want to, but I think just having them so close together, I just think it's gonna just cause a mess. So I'm just going to do 2 per, one on top, one on the bottom, one on top, one on the bottom. So at least I'll have 4 holes across the entire thing, or sorry, 8 holes across the entire board here. That should be more than enough for what I need to do. And then again, adding in the skinnies on this side as well should work perfectly. But again, using this hole saw kit here, we're gonna do all our drilling now, get our holes all lined up. When we're done with the holes, we're gonna grab a small little file, make sure everything is all nice and neat. We don't want to be cutting our hands, and then hopefully these will cover up the hideous holes that I'm about to make. But yeah, let's get going on these holes here. And when we're done, I can start getting these all mounted up. I'll try to get these ones mounted today for sure. If I can, I'll try to get the skinny ones as well. Hopefully it'll work out. Already making progress here, guys. Yeah, whew, this thing gets pretty hot. You can see there, again, I was a little tight on the line there. Try to be a little bit symmetrical with it, but trying to not go up too high. That's my bad on that one. This one, try to keep the same gap as well. I mean, now that I kind of have them, I can kind of measure them out. And again, most of the stuff's gonna be hidden, but I just like having everything nice and neat and as clean as I can get it for the most part. But we're getting there, guys, slowly but surely. Woohoo, baby, there we go. Yes, guys, look at that. Oh man, that's awesome. Very happy with that. Very happy I went with just 2 per sector, per grill, I guess you can say. So again, guys, doing everything on the back side of this, and this is a hood that we do not care about, right? So don't get all crazy. I don't want to hear all you purists yelling at me, all that jazz. But if you take a look now on the other side, there's our holes right there. So again, I'm gonna have to just kind of clean them up just a wee little bit. Probably take a little file, or even just what's called side cutters, and just kind of get all the burrs off them. Nothing too crazy. You can see all our little pieces there. Make sure we don't lose those. But now that we have these, just try not to scratch the hood. A hood we don't care about. But yeah, now that we have these all set up, again, I'm gonna have to go ahead and drill a couple more holes in this. So definitely one in each corner, maybe one in the middle as well. And then we have all the bolts and nuts for that. So I'm gonna line everything up here, or drill my holes first, then line everything up, and then I'll drill everything from the bottom. That way when we go on top, guys, it's literally just drop it down and it's in place. So let's get to it with that. Yeah, this drill's taking a beating, but hopefully we get through this one not too bad, and then we'll work on at least getting these ones mounted right now, and then we'll make our way to our second ones. Here's our first one, guys. Look at that. So you can see we got all our vents in place, so I just have to tighten everything up still. That's what it looks like from the top. Again, it's definitely not the prettiest, but it works, guys, or at least it should work. And again, with the other ones too, just adds to it. So let me get the other one on here as well, and I'll kind of loose fit everything, and then we'll tighten everything up. Boom, guys, there we go. It actually doesn't look that bad, but if you get up close and personal, definitely the home hardware special right there. But yeah, pretty happy with them, I'll be honest. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, so I'm not gonna have time to really cut anything else, just because again, it's getting pretty dark. I don't want to piss any neighbors off. But what I probably can do is get the measuring going for these. And again, we're gonna go somewhere over here, so something like that, and I'm gonna use this little crease as a kind of a reference point. Now this is a little bit on an angle on both sides, so I mean, when you're looking at the actual center grills and you're looking at the side ones, these ones are going to kind of be flared out on an angle a bit, but I think really doesn't really matter to me. I just want them to serve a purpose. So yeah, I'm gonna get the hood back on the ground, get everything all lined up as far as my marker, measuring tape and level and all that stuff, and then should be able to at least, I mean, maybe drill a couple holes, but I'm not going to worry about going crazy with the angle grinder tonight. But I mean, the closer we get, the better, right? So let's get going on that. But it's so far, I'm really happy with with this setup right here. And again, the hood's nice and strong still, especially when you add in all the bolts. So we'll see how it goes. Keeping the same sort of method as far as doing the centerpieces here. Again, guys, I'm gonna use a couple reference points. Oh man, this is really shining in my face right now, just because I just gave it a little bit of a wipe down with the vacuum. But yeah, I'm gonna try to use this center row right here. So these center nuts right here, this one's just a little bit off, but I mean, it's not gonna be perfect, I guess, for a person like me. But yeah, I'm gonna try to use that as my reference points, so that this way this one and this one are nice and straight. And again, we're gonna follow that nice crease that's a part of the hood, and then we're gonna do the same thing on this side. Follow this line right here, right across, and then follow that crease. So again, take the marker, going to go all the way around, trace everything out, and I'll probably do my little holes. So I'll put my marker through there to get my little holes, and then again, I'll probably measure it and then draw out the inside. For this one, guys, we are going to actually either drill a bunch of holes together, or we're going to actually cut a section of the hood out. I'm still debating on how I'm actually going to do that. Again, trying to keep it nice and strong, but at the same time effective. But yeah, there'll be no grinding tonight, that is for sure. Maybe tomorrow before I head out, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, it should look pretty good actually when it's all said and done with the reflex silver and the black. Yeah, pretty stoked about that. So let me get this all measured up, drill the holes. At least we have it nice and prepped for when we do cut it up and do the mounting. There's our first template right there. What I actually might do is I'm gonna go back to the whole saw kit. Instead of making a huge bunch of racket with the grinding, I can just use this drill and go nice and easy, and I'll be able to do how many openings are on here? I think 5. So I might go for 5 or 4. We'll see how it goes, but I think that's going to be the best bet for getting everything all nice and neat and clean. And then we can put our little holes in to do the mounting with our nuts and bolts here. So I'm going to just quickly do that template as well, and then start doing the drilling. Yes, guys, major win on that one. Again, I probably could have grinded that all out, but then it just gets really messy and crazy. At least this looks a little bit more badass. I mean, it might not work as good, but dude, that looks actually pretty sick. It looks like a stoplight right there. It looks pretty cool. So now that that one's done, we're gonna do this one as well, and then I'll be able to do all the little tiny holes, get everything all tied in, and then we can finish this tonight, which is a big deal for me because we still got a lot to do on the figure 8 car, which you guys can't see, and we're only just over a week away really from getting on track. So I really want to get this one done tonight if we can. So guys, yeah, you can see it is dark out, but again, there, holes are done. Just kind of buttoning up everything right now. I think I'm going to be a little short on the hardware, so I'll probably have to go out and get some more hardware. But yeah, there's all the holes, and again, you can still see all of the actual drawings of everything. But pretty happy with it again so far. Just because it's so dark out and stuff, I really want to show you guys what it looks like in the daylight as well, with it all washed up and vacuumed out and stuff. So I'm going to end the clip here, but the next clip I'll bring you guys back in. We'll take a good look at it, review it all, and then end the video. So just hang on tight. So it's next day here, guys. As you guys can see, daylight, get a good view of our finished product. So here's the hood, all said and done. Had to go out and buy a couple more bolts and nuts, but made it work. But I'm pretty happy with it actually. I mean, it's better than nothing, and you can see our holes on the inside there, as well as in our fender vents that we put on the hood. But yeah, really happy with it. I mean, scrappy hood here. It would have been nice to have it like all wrapped up in like a carbon fiber and stuff like that. Even to have these wrapped into carbon fiber would be pretty cool, or hydro dipped, any of that stuff. So Hopefully the video helped you guys out regarding doing some hood venting, either if it's on a Mark IV or just any other car. Gives you guys a couple ideas. And then remember, always good to do all your measurements and stuff on the back. I mean, you could always take some soap and water and all that stuff, wash it all off. That's probably what I'm gonna do. I mean, I don't really care if people see this, but yeah, I'm gonna give everything a full vacuum and wash the hood right out, and then just make sure I have all the hardware. But yeah, we'll have it on the car for sure at the Berlin Classic this year. Should be on there. Hopefully everything goes well. But yeah, just want to end the video now. At least you guys can see in the daylight. So yeah, take care, guys. Thanks again so much for watching another one. Again, follow me on Instagram at Mk4 Motorsports if you have any questions regarding any of this stuff here. And as always, feel free to comment, subscribe, and like the video. Hopefully see you guys soon. We're getting close to our track day, and I'm really looking forward to that. So, all right, guys, take care.